You'll often hear people call aircraft carriers sitting ducks. But honestly, they're some of the toughest targets in the world to actually hit.
Well, if an aircraft carrier was a sitting duck, wouldn't we have had a lot of aircraft carriers get hit? Like, I mean, let's just apply a little bit of logic here. I mean, really.
Their main trick is something called defense in depth. It's basically a multi-layered shield that tries to stop threats long before they even get close to the ship. This starts with the carrier strike group, which is a protective...
Yeah, I think that they assume that the carrier is just out there in the sea all by itself. Like, there's nothing else next to the carrier. The carrier is just like, we're sending in one carrier with nothing else. Just the carrier.
Bubble of destroyers and cruisers. These escort ships use the super smart Aegis combat...
Like, a carrier is kind of like, it's like a summoner, right? Where it's like, you want to have the rogues and the warriors defending the casters, but the caster can summon a bunch of, like, F-35 jets. But, like, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of attack capabilities itself, but it can summon these jets that can blow up all kinds of shit. That's basically what an aircraft carrier is. It's like a minion build. Exactly. No, I'm not even wrong. Like, it's a Protoss carrier. Yeah, exactly. Protoss carriers are insanely powerful, but the carrier itself isn't what's powerful. It's what's on the carrier. Do you send the carriers in by themselves? No, you bring them in with a bunch of other stuff.
System to track hundreds of targets at once and knock down incoming missiles from hundreds of miles away.
Yes.
The second layer is all about the carrier's own eyes and ears.
Look at all
Its
those
planes.
jets.
The E-2D
Jesus.
Hawkeye flies high above the fleet, acting like a floating radar tower that can spot low-flying missiles hiding behind the curve of the Earth.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, so you telling me that they have, like, fucking telemetry on this where they have it planned for the curve of the Earth? But there's, like, a Twitter user who thinks that, oh, I know how it is. You just shoot a missile at the aircraft carrier. It's easy.
Once they see something
Yeah, what curve? What are you talking about?
fishy, the carrier can send out FA-18s or F-35s to take out the enemy bombers or ships before they even get a chance
Those are
to
the
fire.
minions.
By pushing the fight further away, the carrier keeps things a lot safer for
Exactly. That's like in PoE, right? It's like you don't want to be fighting right up there next to your minions. You want to have your minions, like, over there, like, and you're, like, behind a wall.
everyone on board. If a missile actually makes it through those first two layers, the carrier starts playing mind games with electronic warfare. The ship's tech can jam a missile's brain, making it go blind or feeding it the wrong directions. Plus, they can toss out chaff, which is basically clouds of tiny metal fibers, and bright flares to create huge fake targets. The goal here is to trick the missile into hitting a patch of empty ocean instead of the ship.
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing how they can evade a strike without even firing a shot.
Well, and it's like, also, like, do you think that the guys that made the aircraft carrier didn't think about the concept of what happens if somebody shoots a missile at the aircraft carrier? Like, the amount of thinking that this would have to, like, you'd have to just not do in order to come to this conclusion is, like, insane. Like, they just never even considered the idea of what happens if somebody tries to shoot the aircraft carrier. Like, let's build a $10 million ship, or a $10 billion ship. Okay. Well, what's the plan if it gets attacked? I don't know. Make another one?
The last line of defense is the inner screen, which is for those scary last-second moments.
$50 billion? Yeah.
This includes specialized interceptors like the Sea Sparrow and the Ram, which are built to be super fast and agile.
Oh, wow.
For anything that gets even closer,
They've got
the
the AA
Phalanx
guns?
Gatling gun, often called a wall of lead, can fire thousands of rounds every minute to literally
4,500 rounds per minute? What? What? Oh my god!
shred a missile into pieces right before it hits. Finally, we can't forget that carriers
Like, how does that even work?
are actually really fast. Even though they're massive, they can zip along at over 35 miles per hour. Since it takes a few minutes for a long-range missile to reach its target, the carrier can be miles away from where it started by the time the missile shows up. When you
So wait a minute, there's the other strategy that could be employed that's called move the carrier. Holy shit. This is next level naval warfare. Oh my god. Has anybody ever tried this? So you just move the ship. What? You can do that?
combine that speed with the ability to stay electronically silent and hide in the middle of a giant ocean, it turns out these ships are actually quite hard to find.
Wow. Nobody could have guessed this. Nobody could have ever imagined that carriers are actually not just sitting there waiting to get blown up. And what about underwater? Surely they have nothing. They have nothing planned for being underwater. There's no. See, they don't have any plans at all for this. Province referendum, leave Canada. Oh God. And yeah, they have no idea. Like, bro, the underwater. Oh no, not our weakness. We didn't plan for this at all. Oh God. Yeah, surely. And what are these over here? CENTCOM. Oh, this is another update. Okay, let's watch this. I'll see it. And let me go back and look at this and see if there's any more of these bombings that have happened before I watch this video. And it looks like it's more of the 20 alerts, and then it was all clear. And this is, again, holds the global economy hostage. I will talk about them attacking the ships after this. I've kind of wasted time not talking about that, but, you know, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. American military thinks of everything, apparently. I mean, it's not really everything. It's like, well, what happens if they try to shoot a missile? Okay, well, what happens if they try to shoot, like, 2 missiles? Okay, what happens if they try to shoot a missile and they're close? Okay, what happens if they try to shoot a missile from underwater? Okay, anything else? That's about it? Okay, all right, well, looks like we're good. I mean, come on.
I'm Admiral Brad Cooper here at United States Central Command, where I'm leading the forces executing Operation Epic Fury. First, I want you to know that we continue to keep the families of our fallen heroes and our wounded teammates in our thoughts and prayers.
Spend $1 trillion a year.
I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the families of the 50,000 American servicemen and women deployed in and around the Middle East. I'm grateful for your selfless sacrifice, and I know that Americans across the country hold you in their hearts. Let me start by offering my overall assessment of Operation Epic Fury. In short, U.S. forces...
I wonder how many guys are trying to re-sign up so they can go over there that were in the first War on Terror. Because I remember whenever the Desert Storm happened, the first one, the day that it started happening, my dad immediately called the recruitment office, and he wanted to go to Desert Storm on day 1. He did. So I bet there's probably a lot of guys. I wonder how many are like that are like him. They're all aged out. That's what they told my dad. They said, like, you're too old, you can't do it. And he was like, he missed it by like 7 months or something like that.
Continue delivering devastating combat power against the Iranian regime. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. U.S. combat power is building, Iranian combat power is declining. And we remain centered on very clear military objectives in eliminating Iran's ability to project power against Americans and against its neighbors. Every day, we're striking hard at Iranian ballistic missile and drones. To date, we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including more than 60 ships, using a variety of precision weapon systems. Just yesterday,
according to Twitter, all of these are fake.
Yesterday, we had strike waves nearly every hour from different locations and directions going into
5,000, it's a lot, isn't it?
We also took out the last of 4 Soleimani-class warships. That's an entire class of Iranian ships now out of the fight.
Yeah.
I'd characterize our strikes as being unpredictable, dynamic, and decisive. Since the first 24 hours of this campaign, Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks have dropped drastically. But it's worth pointing out that Iranian forces continue to deliberately target innocent civilians in Gulf countries while hiding behind their own people as they launch attacks from highly populated cities in Iran.
I think that's the strategy they have, is Iran is trying to... They're trying to bomb and attack everywhere else they can, so the people around them blame it on the United States. They're trying to create pressure by effectively terrorizing every country and every group of people possible, and basically hoping that in doing so, that will make them put pressure on the United States to stop attacking Iran. That's their strategy. It's backfired. I think that for the most part, it has backfired.
Forces executing Operation Epic Fury aren't just defending against Iranian threats. We are methodically dismantling.
And I think, honestly, like, what this should really tell the rest of the world is that Iran is an existential threat that will literally kill your people for collateral in order to keep its murderous regime alive. I think, if anything, this should unite the entire world against Iran.
Them by hitting Iranian missiles and drones, as we also strike their defense industrial base. Just last night, our bomber force hit a large ballistic missile manufacturing facility, as an example. So it's not just about what's shooting at us today, it's also about eliminating the threat in the future.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Now, let me show you a few of the results from the tremendous efforts by America's joint force.
From their perspective, it's the only thing they can do? Yeah, I know.
Here, you see an Iranian Jamaran-class warship, a large patrol ship, a drone smuggling vessel, and 4 other surface combatants docked at Chabahar Port in the Gulf of Oman.
Where's it at
the
now?
day before we launched Operation Epic Fury. Here's the same pier 4 days later, all ships take.
You can see here where the ships are no longer in the place that they were. Yeah, so the ships are gone now. Wow. Where'd they go? They've been upgraded to submarines.
Out of action. This Bayandar class surface ship was hit and rolled on its side. Here's another example.
Okay.
Here you see 2 Iranian
ships.
surface combatants docked at an Iranian naval base near the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
Just hours into the campaign.
Okay.
And here's what they look like 3 days later, engulfed in flames after we struck them with a precision weapon.
That didn't work.
For years, the Iranian regime has threatened commercial shipping and U.S. forces in international waters. Our mission is to end their ability to project power and harass shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. From the air, we've achieved a concentration of air power with back-to-back waves of advanced fighters, creating constant pressure on the enemy.
Do you think Iran will strike Europe? I think that they eventually will. Like, you have to keep in mind that the longer this goes on, the more desperate they're going to become. And I think that in the process of them becoming more desperate, they will continue attacking kind of neutral parties in the hope that those neutral parties will put pressure on the United States. They had Cyprus. Well, I mean, besides that, that was like that's Greece, right? I'm pretty sure it's Greece. The NATO will activate? Yeah, I think so.
Every single day. Our dominance is not a solo effort. It's a testament to the strength of our ironclad alliances. We continue to coordinate closely and effectively with Israel in this very large operation, and we are also coordinating and serving side by side with all of our partners in the Middle East. We're on a path to eliminating Iran's ability to threaten.
I think one thing that's really worth talking about is the fact that nobody is siding with Iran. Nobody is. China is like, look, we're just looking for the oil, right? That's it. That's all they care about. Russia told Trump they were impressed with his attacks. I mean, nobody is. Liberals are? Yes. White liberals in white liberal women in America are siding with Iran. But besides that, nobody else is.
Americans and our friends, and we are achieving this through a combination of lethality, precision, and rapid innovation.
Yeah.
Let me highlight a few examples, at least the ones that aren't classified, of how we are achieving lethal effects in entirely new ways. First, our warfighters are leveraging a variety of advanced AI tools. These systems help us sift through vast amounts of data in seconds, so our leaders can cut through the noise and make smarter decisions faster than the enemy can react.
Yeah, obviously.
Humans will always make final decisions on what to shoot and what not to shoot, and when to shoot. But advanced AI tools can turn processes that used to take hours and sometimes even days into seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
I continue to be impressed with all the branches of the U.S. military. The entire team is performing superbly. Strike operations from our joint force continue, as I've said. I assess that we are clearly exercising air superiority over vast swaths of Iran. We have the most integrated air defense umbrella in the Middle East, and our defensive operations from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Space Force teams are performing magnificently.
Is that an interception?
A note about the Space Force. Our space superiority has been a critical enabler to this fight.
So they're literally, I mean, this is it. I mean, they're getting attacked from space? Holy shit.
Unseen by the world, the Space Force is doing two things. First, they're degrading
United States Space Force. Oh boy.
Iranian capability. And second, they're helping to protect American forces. And I'll have to leave it right there. All told, despite this incredible progress, make no mistake, we remain highly vigilant. And I just could not be prouder of our Operation Epic Fury team, and I know the American people shared that same pride. To all our warriors out there, please keep up the great work and Godspeed. Thanks so much.
Great. I mean, there you go.